Hi guys, I'm Lou,
Hey guys, I'm Z.
and welcome back to another episode of Clueless with Alam Z. So today we'll be talking about the struggles of growing up, the disadvantages, basically the thoughts and the perspectives from me and Z since Michelle's not here today. But, just gonna get into it. Either it's the pinning or, the pressure of being successful and pushing, everybody's pushing to be successful, whether it's to be a doctor, an engineer, an entrepreneur, whatever it is, just trying to strive to be better and to be the best, and sometimes the pressure of doing all that while maintaining a social life, maintaining your own peace of life can be a lot, not necessarily just it's for anybody in all age ranges and all age groups. I just feel like it is part of the pressures.
Yeah, so to start us off with our topic, question of the day is, growing up, what is one of those lessons that you learned very early in your life or whenever in your life actually that has just stuck with you in such a way that nothing else has?
I mean, in what way exactly?
Like, one of those life lessons or one of those quotes or something that you pick up on at random. For me, it's the translation. There's a Sesotho saying, I don't know how to say the actual Sesotho saying. It's it translates to Pasakau eat a man. And for me, basically, I take it as it's worse now rather this than something worse, karma effect in a type of way, so for you, what is one of those things that stuck with you and has gotten through you in like a life lesson type of way?
Perspective. I feel like perspective is the one thing. Once I learned and once I actually got into it and I understand what it meant, and I truly tapped into it, it was over from there. I mean, I really I highly believe in it, I not as in a religious way, but I feel it's important, and it literally drives everything to me. I mean, when you think about it, everything can be either solved by perspective, resolved as the same thing, but you could communicate better, we could work together better, we could live in harmony more if there was some sort of understanding of perspective, as perspective is a part of communication, and communication is important in society, and I feel like that's what we're lacking. But the most important part is understanding the other person, seeing how they see you, because you're never going to see the same. I think it's important to have a broad view.
I understand it's important to have a broad view. I'm not contesting that. My question is, what then? Because one thing I've personally struggled with is I have a broad view of everything, or as broad as a view as I can have, but within my own broad view, I try to keep my own opinion. So it's a very thin line between having a broad view and keeping your own opinion, and thinking you have a broad view when your opinion is clouding your view.
Yeah, I understand that line is very thin. I feel like I've had this conversation with one of my close friends, and I feel it's balance is important in everything, because it's hard to be on some, all right, I'm gonna understand it from you, I'm gonna understand it from her, I'm gonna understand it from him, but then at the end of it, who's right? And how am I supposed to take that? What am I supposed to basically do with that information? I feel like you could assist and make some sort of a structure, maybe a few bricks in building my opinion and my view, but not completely the whole foundation, And it's important to have outside knowledge, not, as you were saying, not so your opinion isn't clouded. In a way, I feel like it's important to understand, so you speak correctly, you can speak factually and with information. That's why it's important.
I saw a quote on one of my friends' WhatsApp status the other day. A very good friend of mine. The quote said, "Observe everything, absorb nothing." And we were talking, and we were like, it's very hard to do that last part, to observe everything but not absorb anything, because I still absorb a lot of people's gunk and a lot of things and the energies around me, and it's a thing of, they mentioned that it's a thing of trust, and I agree with that. It's a thing of trusting yourself that you know your opinion, and as much as you're watching everything and learning people, you're not becoming those people.
Yeah, and self-awareness is important. Knowing why you're doing things and where that behavior sprouts from. Because sometimes when you chill with a friend for a long period of time, you see each other every day. You may pick up each other's mannerisms. A word they say all the time, the way they move their hand. It's not you completely. It's your body mimicking them. It's a way of comfortableness. It's just connection. So I mean, it's important to know that, okay, now I'm moving on the same wave as you, right? But I am not you. I have to keep myself steady. I have to keep and not completely. It's basically as you're driving. These metaphors, keep your eyes on the road. Don't look at the other car. Don't drive for the other car. That's how you crash.
And one of the struggles I find is, as much as don't drive at the other cars and stuff like that, is finding the balance of still enjoy the life, still enjoy the ride. You can stop over sometimes, pick up a couple of people on your road. You don't have to go on the freeway, or if you have a goal, or if you're just driving. For me personally, okay, if I'm being honest, for me personally, I don't think life is a straight road. It's not a straight road. Life has rocks and mountains, and then you might end up in valleys and everything like that. But for me, it's about what mode of transport. I don't know if it's going to make sense. For me, it's about what mode of transport you're using at the current time. Are you evolved enough to, cruise with a car, with your Mustang, or are you now walking, you're learning? When you're going through the hardships, you're walking with your feet. Kind of like, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah.
No, I hear you. I understand you. I understand you that way. I feel like also in one of our prior episodes we touched into media and music. In the music episode, the one based on music, I think some people tend inspiration and completely idolizing somebody. I feel like it's two different things. It also leads into taking and learning, as well as completely, and with the thing of observing, you're taking this information in. It can help you strategize your plan and not completely, take their map and make a new one. Just, okay, now there's a roadblock there, I don't necessarily take that road. I feel like balance is important. I feel
balance is important, and something my uncle kind of mentioned the other day, right, was that as much as balance is important, you shouldn't spend your whole life wobbling on that balance line, trying to find a balance. Sometimes a balance is leaning to one side or the other. Sometimes why is there a side? Sometimes it's all a gray, for me. So I feel like it's also important to keep that in mind. And one of the things that with observing and not absorbing is, as much as you do that with energies and stuff, people shouldn't translate into doing that with elders and education and the system. As much as it's broken, it's the current system we have. Going to find new systems, use the systems you have to build.
I feel like it's the way of the car. The wheel was invented. There's nothing wrong with the wheel. We're not going to be carrying wagons. The wagon idea was not a bad idea. It pushed us through. We did it. But then you have to evolve. The wheel turned into the car turned into multiple things. So letting it grow, letting evolution happen in a way, I feel like is important in that aspect, because not completely, mimicking, monkey see, monkey do don't fix us at what's broken. I feel like I've mentioned this multiple times, right, in the interview and in episodes. I just feel you have to take everything with a pinch of salt. Just, okay, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and create your own recipe.
Yeah, in yourself, And at the same time, it's a thing of take everything with a pinch of salt, make it your own, stay in your lane, but now finding the balance of staying in your lane amongst the peoples. That's what people don't tell you.
The hustle and bustle.
That's what I feel like that's not spoken about a lot, or where I look. It's not spoken a lot in like spiritual circles and stuff like that, where I am, is you find your inner peace, but then you enter the world, and the world just wants to enter that inner peace. So finding your inner peace, it's a thing of
like
maintaining your inner peace in the world while also trying to move in the world. Because moving in the world in your own little bubble is nice and all, but it takes energy.
It is. And I feel like maybe you could ask somebody for directions, but like hey, actually we've been saying the same thing, and I feel like it's really hard to find a balance. It's really hard to find a proper in and out. It's hard to find, okay, let me do this, let me do that. And in life, as you said, life is not a straight road. It's not going to be the same for everybody. It's got left, it's got right, it's got curves on the side. So I feel it's important to, as I said, keep self-aware and keep that little bubble of peace, right? But at the same time, not being completely stuck in that peace and being absent of the world. But at the same time, is that truly such a bad thing? Just disconnecting? Because I feel like that's a lot of the stress of, okay, now I feel like we're moving on. It's a new topic or what, but you as a kid, you're doing high school, you're finishing, and you're like, okay, now life is about to start, right? Then you're doing college, then it's life. From the do you want to be working, do you want to have kids, do you want to follow that road? Some people I just want to do their thing, do their degree for their parents, do whatever for their parents, and sit in their house.
Yeah, but for me, it's like sitting in your house to what end? I'm one of those people, right? I'm one of those people who I want to go and get a forest house one day and just sit there and do nothing and just live my best life all the damn time, doing what I love, whether it's music, whether it's dancing, gardening, whatever. But at the same time, I enjoy being in the throes of the world. I enjoy being amongst the people. I enjoy... not necessarily enjoy, I feel contentment even after a hard busy day at work, whether it's doing work for the podcast, whether it's doing work for my mom, family work. You go to sleep at night and you're like, I'm not sitting, and as much as I'm living life for me, I'm still helpful in other people's lives, because I'm not in the world alone. So it's a thing of finding peace in yourself and finding the space to find peace in yourself within others.
I get that. I feel like it's important to be within but also disconnected, and it's not being in the water is fine. By the beach, it's washing, but once you're consumed by that water and you don't have your own power, you don't move, you're not having any source of direction on your own. Some people vibe with that, completely losing control, completely not being yourself, just being made. Some people don't want to explore, don't want to be artistic, don't want to travel. They just want to get a job, have kids, have a wife, and die.
Yeah, guys, that's one thing I can speak heavily about. Some people are okay being followers. In the social hierarchy that we have, it is the natural social hierarchy that we know. There is always going to be, even in the predatorial social hierarchy, there's the sharks, there's the fish, there's the smaller ones, there's the plankton, So it's a whole thing of that. There's always going to be someone that's the lesser. There's nothing wrong with that. Embrace your lesser self.
Balance. Yeah, I understand. On that note, the pressure of having to be rich, having to be big, I really don't think. I feel like if you could have a house, sustain yourself, you'll be okay. That's also, I feel, I don't know. I was part of that train. I was hopping on that train of, now I gotta have money. I gotta be on a yacht. I want to do all that. I'm going to do all that. But what's the end goal from there? You're gonna party for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I feel like people, a lot of the time, the whole high life mentality for me, right? I personally believe that billionaires should not exist. Why should one have such money? I enjoy living life to the fullest, enjoying luxuries and everything, but why to that extent?
Yeah.
It's a thing of, what does it give you? I feel like not every person who has all these luxurious cars and luxurious houses, enjoy them. So
Yeah.
why have them?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's maybe society also feeds into it on that rope of okay now it's either you're gonna be a doctor, get a nice small family, have a wife, 2 kids, retire when you're 40 or retire when you're 60. Let me be more realistic, and all that. And then some people are trying to do the opposite. There's a sense of balance trying to be created. Societal standards, the norm that's supposed to be happening, and let me be my own thing. Now my own thing is also starting to become that societal standard. It's a cycle that has happened over years and years and years of society. Now this and this. You see, it's evolution in a way. We just change and move as things are getting different. Things die out. Right now, trends are getting bigger, faster and faster and faster. Think about if you go back in history. In the 60s, how long would a trend last?
Years.
A couple years. Right now, ripped jeans, whatever it is, bandanas, how long does it last? Maximum 6 months. Then it's out of season. And it's on to the next. Stuff is getting so busy, and I feel like it's getting to a point, when a wheel is spinning so fast, it's gonna snap.
Yeah, guys, like personally for me,
run off,
Yeah, personally for me, stop and smell the roses. In this new generation, I feel like it's something that's lost on us. Stopping to stop and enjoy life and going on a hike. I see it in some of Gen Z. It's being found again. Naturalists and people who are finding themselves, especially in the queer community, you'll find, But it's also a thing of you've got the techie side in some ways, not in all ways. I'm not gonna lie and say technology has not improved our lives. It has improved our lives, but I also feel like it's deprived us of finding it. It's deprived us of enjoying the journey it takes to that. Because right now everyone is so used to everything at their fingertips.
Yeah.
You wanna go out? Guys, there's Uber. You want some music? There's YouTube Music. You don't have to go and play a CD.
Yes, but the thing about that is now that's how it is. Are we supposed to go back and reverse and just be stuck in it? Is this our destination? And you could take it. Okay, it is. I feel like in some point there was a quote unquote in time, some point in history, there was a quote unquote perfect stop where we could have stopped there, stopped evolution, and it would have been fine. I'm talking about the planet, I'm talking about society, I'm talking about mental health, I'm talking about all of that. When that wasn't a thing, there was some sort of balance found. But then it's like it's synchronicity. It has to keep moving. It depends on what you believe in. You believe in the end of the world, you believe in nothing, you believe that you're nothing. It really depends.
Okay. Yeah, let me steer the conversation back because we're now going to go into like existential life crisis type of situation.
Yeah, and I feel like we're getting a little too deep into it, ne?
But these are the kind of thoughts that kind of runs through some kids' minds, especially like teens who are going into adulthood or young adolescents, like 12, 13, young adolescents who are going into teenagehood. That bridge leads you to all these kind of thoughts of
and I feel
why,
like
what,
questions.
how,
Questions always lead to answers, and answers lead to more questions. It's always going to be a loop. It's not consistent, which is bugging. It's hard. You get an answer once, then next thing it's gone. It doesn't make more sense because you've got another question counteracting that answer. So it's an up and down, right? So when we say we're steering back into conversation, let's not ramble into the moon and the stars. What do you think is another struggle or another pressure or something that you feel we need to talk about when it comes to growing up, aside from the pressures of being successful, of not wanting to fail or willing to fail just because I'm not gonna run that race and break my leg? What's the point of that, basically? What else do you think we could branch and talk about?
Happiness. People expect other people to be always happy. Life isn't one emotion. I feel like that's something that's so lost on a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie to you, Maybe I'm not seeing the right people, But I feel like a lot of people forget that you need time in your life for sadness. You need time in your life for anger. You need time in your life for all these different waves of emotion, because why would you have them otherwise? Are they just there to sit in the back of your head and rot away? So when you're going through tough times and you're always like, why me, why me, why me? And I don't mean to say this in a condescending manner. I mean to say this in a, why not you? Like, if it was not you, who else? What else could you have been going through?
No, I feel like balance is important in everything. I feel like maybe people, I've said it multiple times, gonna get irritated, but balance is important in that aspect. Yes, you're not always going to be happy, and you shouldn't always be sad. Nor should you always be neutral. Keeping that wobble balance of okay, it's one is too much, one is too little. I'm not gonna be satisfied, so let me just feel nothing. Right? I feel like that's a path that most of us, I'm saying us as my peers, as the people that we're talking to, people who listen or who can relate to this, is okay. No, guys, no, I can go there, I could fight, I could do the most, I could sit there and dwell. None of this feels for me, so am I just gonna cruise? I'll go forward. I don't know if I'm gonna hit the target. I'm not going back either. I'm just floating. Floating is a thing right now where I know that I have to push. I know that I have to do something better. I know the steps that I need to take to be better. I know the steps that I have to do, just push. There's something just stopping me. And I feel like, I don't know where we touched this into, but I remember us touching into that. Okay, I know that if I push it, am I ready for that success? Am I ready to take all of that responsibility? I'm a push, achieve all of my goals. What is the repercussions of that? Because all actions have repercussions. Am I willing, me mentally, my mindset, my spirit, am I willing to handle that? Can I handle that? Not even willing aside, will I be able to handle that? Yeah. Is it worth it?
Yeah, and when you say handle, I take it as, it's not necessarily in negative light. It's not necessarily burden, but everything has weight. Whether it's a lightweight, whether it's a heavyweight, everything has weight, everything has texture. That's how I personally feel.
I feel like also standing still is an action in itself.
Moving back,
moving forward, standing still, going sideways, it's moving.
Exactly. So when you're successful, right now in your climbing to success or in your day-to-day, you already carry the weight of everyday life. Waking up, brushing your teeth, having to do your chores, having to do homework, you carry that weight.
Yeah.
Now, as you were saying, it's a thing of accepting, can you carry the weight of the success? Waking up and having to maintain that success. Because a lot of people forget that when you have money, you have to stay.
Yeah, when you spend something, you're probably going to need to work it back. That routine, that lifestyle that we're talking about, that partying and stuff, you're gonna party. What toll is that taking on your body? What toll is that taking on your bank account? What are the repercussions of doing that? Settling with your family, there's also that need to go and do something else. Everything has its pros and cons. It's about picking what balances your balance. Somebody else's balance and somebody else's path is not going to work for you. I said this before. It might. If you work, it might work for you. This person did this, another person did it work for them, another person did it worked for them. You go, it doesn't work for you. How does that make you feel?
And another thing, as much as you go, it doesn't work for you, right? Everyone is not meant to be successful. One, and your success is in your own hands. Two, your success is in your own hands. I feel like there's one thing, that a lesson that I learned this year is that as much as the circumstances and stuff, end of the day, my success is in my own hands.
Yeah.
How bad do I want this? Because sometimes wanting this is waiting for it. Sometimes working towards it is putting it aside and working on yourself.
Yeah.
Putting it aside and building the building blocks for this project. A lot of people dive into business, and thinking that, no, I've got the money, I can get the product, so and so and so and so. You still have to learn how to do contracts, how to communicate with your consumers and then your suppliers, the weights and recipes. There's a lot of the background, right? And there's nothing wrong in taking a step back
And processing all of that.
processing and learning how to do it.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to make it one day, right? But as I was saying, going back into when you go into something, walk into something, the pressure, are you willing to handle that? Or are you able to? You push to the top of the mountain to collect the stone. By the time you've reached the top of the mountain, you're dehydrated, you're tired, and you've died. Did you achieve your goal? It also leads into another conversation that I feel it's being had, ne? Onto what is it, the destination or is it the journey? I think it depends on everybody. It depends on each individual personality, whether the trail, the path, the journey towards it is more important to the goal. It's the goal. The fact that you went and you got up and you started walking, is all that you need. Or is it the goal? You don't care what happens on the road. The goal is your main objective.
Personally, for me, it's a balance. I feel like I have a goal, man. But for me, the goal is just as important as the journey. Or the journey is just as important as the goal. Because I cannot reach my goal without going through my journey. And my journey would not be a journey without having a goal. And sometimes your goal changes. I feel like that's something that I learned as well. Your goals are going to change. You don't have to stand still.
Just because when you were 6 and you said I want to be a doctor doesn't mean you have to dedicate the rest of your life towards being a doctor. When you grow up, the things that you're interested in, the things that you interest, the things that you work with, change. It's either society, it's your friends, but circumstance and the way that you feel changes. Therefore, you should also let yourself go and move and observe other things, and learn and create your own path, get your own blocks from everywhere and build your own road.
Yeah, and that's one thing that me, like at 17, next time turning 18, finding my own path and not falling into the wave of other people, because I want to be unique in normalcy, if that makes sense. Myself in the people's, I want
to be unique in normalcy. I feel like that's beautiful in itself, because that's very relatable. In a way, like, okay, I want to make my own path, but I don't want to walk in the desert roads that no one has walked before. In the dark, a snake might bite me, a dog might chase me. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'd rather stay in the light with the people, but at the same time, I don't really like where they're going. So I have to stay within the light and the dark without getting trapped in.
Yeah, it's like you're walking in town.
Yeah.
And then you've got the road where the carnival and stuffs are happening. When you really don't want to be in the throngs, but you want to be with the within. So you're like on that empty sidewalks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm making sense. You want to see the people. You want to be in the people, but you also want to be by yourself.
Yeah. I feel like walking in the shadows, that we can say it, in the shadows, within the light and in the dark at the same time. Because we can be realistic with ourselves. The dark is scary. It is very, very scary down there. Right? But at the same time, it's comforting. When the light gets too bright, you just be on some effort. Let's go to the dark and let's just sit there. And number one, with that fear of moving around, hitting your head and doing something, you're going to stay still. You're comfortable. So you're not going to move from the dark. You're scared, but you're comfortable and you're safe with it. You're safe with it at the same time. There, you don't know. You see the light. You ran away from the light for a reason. You don't know there's a dimmer light. It is a new light. So you're just gonna stay in the dark, in that hole. Because there's fear of change. There's fear of movement. Whether it's deep into the dark or it's into the light. Some people rush into either or, not knowing anything. Just I can't stay here, so let's move. Whether it's backwards, forwards, left or right, I can't see, it's dark, so we'll just give it a shot. Winging it, I feel like I wouldn't say it's a trend, but it's now where we're going. Like, if I go this way, there's this and this and that. They're overthinking of it all. This whole conversation is so great, but what we're saying is the questions and the answers that drive people crazy. Yeah.
It's these questions and answers that we're asking ourselves today. It's kind of like a thing of you have to come at peace with never really finding out the why, never really finding out the where you're going. You're just going, and in that going you're creating a life. In that going you're creating a life. I feel like it's a thing of you don't know where life is gonna take you, you know. So we're just going to enjoy the ride for now. So guys, thank you so much for having this conversation with us today, or listening. We actually
having, I feel like when we talk about such things, when I hear people talk about it, I also like kind of answer in my head, and we want to hear those thoughts, we want to hear your opinions on what we talk about. We want to hear what you want to talk about,
yeah, because as we said, we started Clueless to connect with people, to connect with other views and other perspectives, and grow and find a community. And thank you so much to the people who do tune in, guys. We see you, we appreciate you, who interact, who are there, guys. Even if you don't interact, even if you're, just walking in the shadows, we're glad, and we hope that, we help you see things from a different way, because that helps. It helps you grow as a people. And guys, remember, you all deserve to be heard. Yeah.
Well, that will be it for Clueless with LMZ, guys. See you on Saturday. We were thinking about a live, but more details will be on the Instagram. Bye.
Bye.